And again, so just to explain this, I've collated a few different sources. So it's been suggested that females, according to the sexual selection hypothesis, favor partners with higher intelligence because intelligent males um, signal greater fitness to survive and support the partner and their offspring. So intelligence essentially signals greater biological fitness, good genes, and good health. And this means that they are better able to survive, they're better able to support their partner, and they're better able to support their children. And this has been studied in a number of different studies, which I have cited here below. However, as you can see, is written down in the next paragraph, the psychological research hasn't really concluded whether or not intelligence directly attracts mating partners, or whether instead there is an indirect attraction through intelligence being correlated with tangible fitness resources, things like income and social status, as we saw in the previous thing. So on the one hand, the evolutionary perspective offers an explanation for gendered emotional differences. Specifically, the pressure of finding a mate or a marital partner manifests in different ways for women and men. The evolutionary notion of survival of the fittest, which you might have heard about, basically plays out differently for men and women. For men, male aggression, so being very aggressive, has been found and studied to be an evolutionary advantage and is an advantageous characteristic in terms of finding and keeping a mate, whilst expression of aggression by females or in women is not advantageous, which means they're not as likely to find a marriage partner if they are aggressive. So the chances of survival and successful mating have been compromised. This is one perspective. It's not necessarily true, but the evolutionary perspective does offer some explanations that we can draw upon in order to explain our trend in IQ and marriage. So, what other factors might be at play? Because clearly, IQ or intelligence is not the full picture. There are plenty of other factors that we're seeing that might be influencing this trend, this gender difference. We've got social class, we've got income, we've got wealth, we've got biological fitness, we've got lots of things like that. So one way we could look at this is divorce. So your decision to end your marriage. So a little bit of background. Marriage is considered one of the most important forms of social support in adult life. And population studies have found that most adults will marry at some point in their lifetime. However, despite these benefits, the divorce rate has risen since the middle of the 20th century, and that was found from a study in 2007. It has continued to rise since, and that is worth bearing in mind. Some researchers have found that up to 40% of the variance in the heritability of divorce is from genetic factors that affect the personality of one spouse. So what that basically means is there is some genetic link between genetic link that relates to how likely you are to get divorced. And this is to do with your personality.